You're very welcome back. Now, our next two guests are a husband and wife acting duo who have lit up our TV and cinema screens for the past few years.
They've now teamed up in a new play which will debut at the Dublin Fringe Festival next month. Actors Clare Monnelly and Monaghan join us this morning. You're both very welcome, guys.
Good morning, guys.
Aaron, sorry. The minute I said Aaron, I was like,
it's a tricky one.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to curse my mother for giving me a difficult name.
You're well used to this, I guess, are you?
Yeah, 100%.
We're talking, first of all, about the play Minefield. I'm not sure who to ask because I'm fascinated by how a couple can work so well together on one project. Let me get this right. Clare, you wrote it, you are starring in it, and you're producing it.
Yes.
Aaron, you're directing it.
I'm just directing.
Just directing.
Yeah, that's it.
Just the one
Easy job.
Kicking back.
Indeed.
How does all of that work before we get to the actual story?
We get asked that a lot, but we've done it quite a bit already in our careers. We've worked together a few times. I suppose the difference this time, the last play we worked on was my first play, Charlie's a Klepto, which is a one-woman show. And so we were in the room, just the two of us, so we could behave in whatever way we saw fit. And then one of the days we were there with our lighting designer, Susie Cummins, and we were having what I thought was a fairly measured, balanced discussion. And I looked up and Susie was like, Mommy and Daddy are fighting. So I think working with the other actors in the room now, we have to measure ourselves a little bit more, maybe.
Because you can be quite brutal with your other half, can't you?
Of course, and like we're really passionate
absolutely.
about the work, and passion can turn to shouting, but only because we love to play.
And each other.
And each other.
And each other.
So we have to be a little bit more measured now, I suppose, now that we have other bodies in the room.
It's the same when you fight with family or whatever, that it's like all the other bits and pieces are out of the way, so we can just kill each other.
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly,
yeah. But we can't do that in this one because there's actually other actors in the room. So,
So
Clare, this is your baby then.
Yeah.
So you wrote it.
Yeah.
How do you hand that responsibility then over to himself?
It's less of a hand and more of a grab, but like, but that's necessary. I think we spent a week before we went into the room. We spent a week on our own in a room, just tearing the script apart, or should I say, Aaron was tearing the script apart, and I was rocking in a corner. But it's really necessary, and particularly because I'm acting in it. I'm in the room all the time, whereas often a writer would leave a rehearsal room for at least a period of time. So I have to hand it over. I have to allow him to take it now and run with it, because it's not just on a page anymore. It has to be a full-blown production, and that's his baby now.
That's his gig.
Yeah.
Aaron, tell us then a little bit about the play. What's it about?
Well, it's about two people who live a lot of their lives in the online world. They spend a lot of time on the internet, who they meet as strangers in the real world, and they get on very well together. And I think the play kind of charts their journey, watches their relationship grow, and they quite like each other. But what they don't know, or what one of the characters doesn't know, is that they actually dislike each other intensely in the online world. So I suppose it's about the other character realises who they are in the online world and whether they can kind of maintain a relationship. But it kind of has big, dire consequences towards the end. So I suppose it's a bit of a debate about how we communicate with each other in the online world versus how we communicate with each other.
And is that a reflection on modern society, do you think, in terms of how different our behaviours are in real life versus in the digital world?
I think so. I think as well with Twitter being so popular and how we have access to so many people we wouldn't have access to before, and I think we speak to people online in a way that I'd find it very difficult to speak to you like in person.
Yeah.
I think like I used to work in customer service on phones. I think that was like the previous version of that, where I'd be representing this massive company and I'd be getting roared at by some stranger because I represented that company. But I don't think someone will communicate like that to me in the real world. So yeah, it's how we represent ourselves online and how we communicate online versus how we really are in real life and how we communicate face to face.
This is on stage, of course. You see you in the flesh and see you doing it in real. But we know you from the telly as well. You've been in Moon Boy. And Nowhere Fast as well. Are you doing other TV projects, or are you?
Not right now. This year has been very much focused on the writing and the making. We took Charlie's a Klepto on a national tour earlier this year.
Yeah, that's the other play.
Yeah, I was in the Abbey for the summer, and now Fringe. So this has been a very theatre-heavy year.
And it's a big compliment to be part of the Fringe Festival, isn't it? I mean,
massive,
that's an iconic thing to be a part of.
Yeah, Dublin Fringe Fest has just grown exponentially since it started 25 years ago. It's gotten so ambitious and massive. It's 80 shows over I don't know how many venues. You can see a play in a laneway, in the courts, in all the various theatres in Dublin. It's just, yeah, it's brilliant
so
to be a part
diverse,
of.
isn't it?
Completely.
Erin, we've seen you in the likes of Love, Hate and various other things, but I'm always fascinated by Simon Delaney, who will tell me about all of the auditions that go on and the taped auditions.
Yeah.
Is that just part of an actor's life now?
Absolutely, yeah. You can get like a phone call or an email at 5 o'clock on a Friday evening and say you have to have a tape in for Monday, and you just do it. It's part of the business, you know.
But where you do it like in your kitchen,
fascinating.
or in the living room?
We've become really good at it. You know,
See,
you have
you
your
have each other
tripod.
to help as well, which is
Yeah,
great.
which is a godsend. We have a tripod and an iPhone and a white wall and the well-lit part of the living room. And you pull the furniture back and you jump in and just do it, I mean, you go for... You only get a tiny percent of the jobs that you go for, and even if you know people, you can look busy a lot of the time, but again, you can look busy online and be sitting at home in your living room. So it's ups and downs, I suppose.
That is the benefit, I suppose, of the professional relationship that you guys have. That if you're if you're doing an audition on tape in the living room, the other of you can say, well, I don't know if that was spot on or maybe
Claire's particularly good at
critique.
that stuff. Yeah, she's
Women are.
amazing.
Well, I found that odd to begin with because obviously our professional relationship so far has been Aaron directing me. So then we start doing tapes together and he'd ask me for direction and I was like, oh, can you direction? But it's good. It's really helpful to have that.
It's so important.
Feedback,
isn't it? Yeah.
And it's still working out. 2.5 years married.
Still together?
Absolutely,
Oh, good.
yeah. A lot of
we
that's been
haven't
down
done
to
the
fact.
show yet, so we'll come back in a few weeks.
I've been out of the country with work a good, but I think I always kind of say that's part of it as well.
Distance is a
But
great...
also, it's helpful that Claire, she's an actor as well, so she understands that's part of the work as well,
Of course.
being away. And
You get
Fantastic.
it.
And you can't say no. Will you direct my play? Yes,
Can't
you will.
escape you. Well, it's
director.
happening in the Axis in Ballymun between the 12th and the 14th of September, and we wish you well, both of you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much.
Thank you for joining
Cheers,
us
guys.
this
Lovely
morning.
stuff. If you'd like to book tickets, that's the Access Theatre. It's fringefest.com is the website there.